Hi and welcome to the Insecure Chef. I'm here with Regina. As always, been a long time. We're not cooking as much as we used to, but today I'm just going to do a classic American goulash. I call it American goulash because it's not made with the pork and the usual. This is just made with beef. Very simple dish, but very tasty. Classic comfort foods right up there with pot roast and meatloaf. So we're going to start by simply sauteing some onions. I'm going to put about, I don't know, whatever amount is in there that I said on the on the site of olive oil. I'm going to heat it up on medium-high heat. Yeah, as I mentioned, you must notice, we're not doing as much as usual. The truth to be said, we've mentioned it several times, I'm cooking mostly for myself these days. Unfortunately, the typical dishes are not in Regina's diet any longer. So cooking for one is difficult sometimes. You kind of, it's not half as much fun. And you also, it's difficult sometimes to scale it all the way down, so you wind up making more and there's leftovers. And I'm not a big leftover kind of guy. So anyway, that's the reason you don't see us as much. But it's been a busy summer, and hopefully wherever you're out there, if your summer's ending, welcome to the fall. And if your spring is ending, welcome to your summer. So we're going to let this heat up just a minute, and I'm going to saute some onions. The recipe calls for white onions. I had white, but I also had some red. I like the spice of the red, so I'm using red, but the regular menu in my description will say white onion in there. All right, let this thing heat up a minute. Okay, this is nice and hot right now, so I'm just going to throw in the onions. Like so. Just down there. I'm using a Dutch oven here. You can do a Dutch oven. You can use a Ninja Foodie, or you can use a Instapot, or you could use a skillet with a cover, I guess. I just happen to be using this right now. And again, if you are making bigger quantities, this is only for one, as I mentioned. You can double it, triple it, quadruple it as necessary, and then certainly a Dutch oven might be a practical way to go with that. So we're going to just let that cook down for about 3 minutes. All right, so that's been cooking for just a couple of minutes. You see the onions are browning up very nicely. All right, we're going to put our beef in now. I'm using 93% lean. That's for health reasons. You could use 85-15 if you like. I wouldn't go much lower than that. All right, just going to break this up right now. And we're going to cook this until it browns up, probably about 5 minutes. Okay, you see the meats have browned up very nicely right now. I'm going to be throwing in my fresh garlic here. And we'll let this just cook up for a minute or two. All right, the garlic is sauteing in there right now. I'm going to be adding most of our remaining ingredients. As always, the recipe is on the site. As I said, this is just for me. I'm going to start with some water there. I'm going to follow this up with a can of just 8 ounces of tomato sauce, like so. That's close enough for chemistry. We're going to follow that with the about 7.5 ounces of the diced tomatoes. I use the fire roasted. You can use any kind you like. That'll be roughly half this can. Yeah, that's about right there. Let's get that in there. That'll stir around. All right, now we're going to follow this up with a little soy sauce for that umami taste, as they call it. Now we got Italian seasoning. I'm using one that's already prepared. You can make your own if you want. Certainly there's a number of recipes for it. This has got the usual array of ingredients in it. It's got the oregano, it's got the thyme, it's got the cardamom. This just saves you the trouble of mixing it yourself. So let me get that in there. That's where the host of the flavor comes in.
Smells good already.
Yeah, can't help that.
Yep.
All right, and we're going to, we'll put a bay leaf in there. I always wondered what the bay leaf did. My mother used to use it. I don't know any Italian cook that doesn't. I was dubious as to how much flavor it actually added, but I'm always afraid to leave it out. 1 bay leaf going in. Always remember, however, just before you serve, is to take that bay leaf out. It's a very unpleasant thing on its own. It's flavor, as they say, but if you ever bit into one of them, first of all, they're a little prickly, and I've tasted them, and they're not that flavorful to me, at least not straight. All right, bay leaf is in. And now I'm going to be adding some seasoned salt. Lowry makes it, McCormick makes it. If you don't have that, I will add on the in the description how to make your own. It's just a classic set of ingredients, most of which you'll probably have in there. But otherwise, as I said, you can buy it already made. The bulk of this seasoned salt, of course, is salt, but it does have a number of ingredients, including a little sugar. All right, that's gone in there. And now we're going to bring this to a simmer. So I'm going to raise the heat a little bit. Okay, let that do its thing. And once it starts to simmer, we'll lower it down a little bit, and we're going to be covering it. And we're going to let it simmer for about 5, 6, 7 minutes. So let's see. You'll see you'll start to pick up a little bubbling here shortly. Now you can start to see that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this. I'm going to lower it just down a little bit to about medium, and we're going to let it go for about 5 minutes. All right, that's been simmering there for about 5 minutes. We're going to take that out. Okay, put that up there. And now we're going to throw in the pasta directly in here. Give that a little stir. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set the timer for about 10 minutes, 10, 11 minutes, depending on how you like your pasta. Okay. I'm going to make it to 10. I'm going to lower this down just a little bit, and I'm going to cover it again. And all we're doing here is waiting for the pasta to get cooked. Okay, the pasta should be done. Again, these noodles usually take around 10 minutes, but that's a personal taste. If you like it a little bit more al dente, cook it for 9. A little softer, cook it for 11. So I'm going to take this out. Now, during the process that we did this, you should at least check on it once or twice. When we were off camera, we did that. And if it looks like it's getting a little dry, don't be concerned. Just add yourself another half a cup of water or so until you get the consistency you like. It is important, however, that you keep an eye on it. You don't want it to dry out and burn. There's the bay leaf. Going to get rid of that guy. That takes care of him. Close the gas off. And I'm going to serve myself some here. There we go. All right, and we'll go over here and we'll get a taste of this and see how this came out. All right. Smells good.
It does. Very good.
All right. As my usual complaint, too hot to me to try this. All right, let's see if that's cool enough for me to try it out. Red hot and delicious. It is very good. Nice flavor. You know, it's funny, people saw the soy sauce go in and say, oh my God, it's going to taste like soy. No, but it does have that background flavor that's very, very pleasant. So again, I call this American goulash, made with beef. If you look up the history of goulash, Hungarian, etc., you'll see it's made with all kinds of different meats. This is my American version. Oh, and I'm sorry I can't taste it.
Oh, me too.
So anyway, from the Insecure Chef and his wonderful wife, Regina.
Have a good dinner.
Okay, and thank you very much. As I said, we've been busy. I'll try to get back, excuse me, periodically to do some cooking. Thanks again. Take care.